As for starvation, I never once said that people are being overfed. I never once said that what the IDF is doing inherently all the time is good. What I am saying is the IDF has taken measures that no other Western country has ever taken in modern warfare. The fact that they drop leaflets on buildings telling civilians to evacuate because there are known Hamas entities in those buildings. The fact that they have provided more aid into Gaza post-October 7th than pre-October 7th is something I'm very proud of. And if you believe that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is not doing enough...
The fact that they shoot at people as they're waiting in line for humanitarian aid. Dozens of people get shot and killed literally every single day. Every single day!
In this video, Anna Kasparian explodes on this delusional right-winger on Piers Morgan. So Anna just completely snaps on Shabbos Kestenbaum, who's out here trying to make it sound like Israel's military actions are some kind of gold standard for moral warfare. He's bragging about leaflets and aid deliveries like that somehow erased the horrific reality on the ground. And Anna just isn't having it with him. She calls out directly to his face the daily killings of desperate civilians waiting in food lines and dismantles this ridiculous narrative being used to justify mass suffering. It really shows how twisted these defenses sound when stacked against what's actually happening in Gaza. So make sure to watch till the end to see how Anna Kasparian explodes on this delusional right-winger on Piers Morgan.
As they're waiting for food. No, I'm not gonna let you filibuster, bitch. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. You guys are totally okay with IDF soldiers shooting and killing desperate people waiting for humanitarian aid. You're okay with that. I find it so unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. It shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world. Okay, watching these images, looking at these videos, seeing all these kids, desperate, hungry, parentless, trapped in Gaza, and you're sitting here and you're defending it. I can't stand it. I can't listen to it. The filibustering is unbearable. It's unbearable.
And what I tell you what,
I can't take it. How can you watch all those kids die?
Okay, let me bring Gideon back in here.
Will you call on Hamas right now to surrender and release the hostages? Do it. Do it right now. Say, I
called out Hamas. I called out Hamas from the very beginning. I've got no love for Hamas. It's a terrorist organization. What they did was wrong. I cried over the atrocities that they engaged in on October 7th. But you know what's so disgusting? You want to? Yes, I did. You should watch The Young Turks. That's where you'll see exactly what I had to say about Hamas after October 7th. I even trashed elements of the left who refused to criticize Hamas for what they did. Okay, so you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to that issue.
Okay, you made that clear.
But you can't on one hand,
you
can't on one hand talk about the injustice of what Hamas did and then turn around and say it's okay if Israel does it times 1,000.
Okay, let me bring Gideon back in here. Gideon, my big issue, other than the slaughter of so many civilians now, which seems to be almost accelerating now on a daily basis, with no control valve at all. Now we have a full new wave of ground invasion. God knows how many more civilians are going to get killed with this.
Anna just completely unloads here, and honestly, it's one of those moments where you can just tell how pissed she is at this point. She's not letting Shabbos hide behind his talking points anymore about leaflets and AIDS. She's throwing out the reality straight to his face. That civilians are being gunned down while waiting for food, and that kids are starving and orphaned, and that anyone defending it is complicit in something deeply evil. And she's right to be this furious, because the framing Shabbos uses is like the sanitized shield to make unspeakable suffering sound like a humanitarian effort. And when Shabbos tries to corner her with "call out Hamas," Anna just smacks it down by pointing out she already did, from day one, and even criticized people on the left for not doing so. It just exposes how weak his point really is. He's trying to moralize from a position of both sides' responsibility, but he can't justify the sheer scale of Israel's response. He's trying to moralize from a position of both sides' responsibility, but he can't justify the sheer scale of Israel's response here.
But my real problem is, what is the supposed goal here? Right? I believe Smodrich when he says he wants to cleanse Gaza of Palestinians. Okay. But how does any of this make Israel safer? How does any of this help Jews around the world who want to get on with their lives and not have to feel threatened when they walk out of their front door? How does any of this do anything but what the critics of it, including allies and friends of Israel, say is just fomenting the hatred, fomenting the ideology that Israel just wants to kill all the Arabs it can, which I don't believe is what they want to do at all. But I do believe that out of what happened October the 7th, there's been a collective meltdown of common sense from Israel's government. And they're now just on a never-ending rampage with no apparent goal, which makes any sense to anybody else.
Here we differ, Piers. I used to think like you until the recent weeks. Now I'm so deeply convinced that there is a goal, a very clear goal. And the goal is the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. It is systematic, it is well planned. And listen to what I have to say. All the Holocaust in history started with moving populations and concentrating them in one concentration camp. Israel is doing it by the time we are talking now. Secondly, Israel is destroying the Gaza Strip systematically. It's not anymore a building here, a headquarters there, a school here, a shelter there. No, it's systematic destruction with huge companies who do it for a lot of money. Destruction of Gaza, which will make it unlivable. We want Gaza to become unlivable in order that the Palestinians will leave Gaza. Stop thinking that there is no goal. The goal is crystal clear now. I don't know if it will be achieved, but it is crystal clear, and it's not Smotrich. It's not only Smotrich. It's the army, it's the government, it's big parts of Israeli public opinion. To destroy Gaza, make it unlivable, to push them to the southern part of the Gaza Strip, to put them in concentration camps in which they will be longing to the days that they were starving in the Muasa and in other places, because life there will be much more of the hell. And then, according to the plan, and they said it, whoever will want to leave will be able to leave to other countries. So we are watching, by the time we are talking now, a horrible plan, a satanic plan of ethnic cleansing of Gaza. There is a goal, it's very clear, and the world has to do something immediately to stop it before it will be too late.
So this is where things get even heavier. Piers, to his credit, actually asks a solid question. What's the endgame here? How does flattening Gaza and killing thousands of civilians make Israel any safer or help Jews around the world feel less threatened? It's one of those rare moments where Piers actually cuts through the noise. But Gideon doesn't just answer. He says the goal isn't some vague military objective. It's literally ethnic cleansing. And the way he lays it out is just chilling. The forced displacement, the systematic destruction of Gaza, making it unlivable so Palestinians are pushed out. He ties it directly to historical patterns of atrocities, which makes it impossible to dismiss as just war. And that's what makes Gideon's voice here so crucial. He's an Israeli journalist calling this out from the inside, tearing apart the narrative that this is all just about Hamas. You can even see Piers hesitate when Gideon uses the term ethnic cleansing, because that's not something you can just debate away. It reframes everything Shabbos said earlier, exposing it as a moral cover for what Gideon argues is a deliberate, well-planned operation to make Gaza uninhabitable. It's unfiltered and just cuts straight through all the PR spin.
Shabbos, would you like to see the Palestinians out of Gaza? Do you agree with Smotrich?
Absolutely not. And I'm very proud of the fact that when I was living in New York City, I drove 4 hours to Washington, D.C. pre-October 7th to protest Bezalel Smotrich. Bezalel Smotrich represents a fringe minority of the Israeli populace. One of the trade-offs of living in a democracy, which of course Gaza is not, Iran is not, Syria is not, Lebanon is not, Jordan is not, Israel is the only democracy. And one of the trade-offs is you live with individuals who have reprehensible views. That's what living in a democracy is all about. And I'm thankful that individuals like Bezalel Smotrich are not part of the war cabinet. When you talk about what are the stated aims of the the war, the prime minister has stated them numerous times. Right now, an American citizen, Omer Nutra, an American citizen, Itai Chen, their bodies are being held by Hamas in captivity. So when you ponder, well, what are the goals of the war? They're very simple, and they've been repeated on national television since October 7th. Give back the hostages, both the living ones and the ones you have killed, and force Hamas into exile. And instead of putting the pressure on the dictatorial Islamic regime that have obliterated any chance the Palestinians have of freedom of movement, freedom of expression, their own state, instead you put pressure on the individuals who are responding to an actual genocide that occurred on October 7th when Hamas tried to kill every last Jew they could find. I believe in a two-state solution. I believe and I want Palestinians to have their own state in the same way that Jews have their own state. The problem is there is one entity that does not believe in that, and that is the entity that is calling from the freeing of Palestine of all Jews from the river to the sea. So if you are pondering, if you are asking, what are the stated aims? Give back the hostages. Can someone please explain why Hamas has the bodies of Thai hostages, why they took Africans, why they took babies? No one can articulately make a rational claim for that, and no one can articulately make the claim as to why Hamas thought it would be a good idea to slaughter innocent civilians on October 7th and then assume there would not be any military response.
Well, no, I think you're missing what I would say. Well, hang on.
Piers, let me just say one sentence.
Yes, please do. Get in.
The atrocities of the 7th of October were horrible. I was there the next day. I saw it in my own eyes. I will never forget it. Ever since then, Israel committed 1,000 7th of October. You understand it? 1,000 7th of October Israel committed. The children, if you take the numbers, the figures, the way that they are being killed, you see that we cannot claim again and again about the 7th of October and justify with the 7th of October all those horrible crimes against humanity which are taking place. There is a stage in which this is unacceptable anymore. You cannot again and again try to remind us about the terrible things that happened on the 7th of October and the 20 living hostages. You know that every 6 minutes, every 6 hours, Israel is killing 20 people, and they are as innocent as the hostages, among them many children. So stop with the 7th of October. It's unacceptable to rely only on this and to say the 7th of October enable us to go crazy and to do those crimes. And second point, stop speaking about Smotrich. The concentration camp in Rafiah is the idea of Israel Katz, Minister of Defense, nothing to do with Smotrich. Netanyahu let all this happen. It's not Smotrich. The idea of the humanitarian center or city, whatever, is clearly a stage on the way to transfer them. They say it, not I say. They say that they will be able to get out of this concentration camp only if they move to another country. This is ethnic cleansing, and it's not Smotrich. It is the Israeli government, the whole government behind it.
So wrapping this up, Shabbos leans on his polished talking points about democracy, hostages, and Hamas being the root of all problems. But Gideon just keeps slicing right through it. He makes it crystal clear you can't keep using October 7th as a blank check for endless killing, especially when every 6 hours more innocent people are dying. And that's the real takeaway here. Shabbos just keeps framing it as responses and aims, but Gideon calls it what it really is. That's how bias works. Dress up something horrific as defense, and suddenly it sounds justifiable to some. And speaking of biases,
are you getting tired of getting news from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing, and another says the complete opposite? How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, whether it's left, right, or center, are covering the same story, so you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get a 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights in media bias and political trends. So stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.